Are we on? Yes, we're on. Okay. Welcome to the Revelation Station, everybody. Good to be here. We're looking at Daniel, and Daniel is going to save the day once again. Daniel chapter 2. If you want to go there, Daniel chapter 2. Just a second here. We'll read a couple of verses and then I'll go and tell you the story. In the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. And then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. And so, Lord willing, we're gonna hopefully the video is going to be working better. I've been having all kinds of trouble with the internet here, and I don't think it's my equipment. I think it's just the internet. Here in Ignis, we're having off and on. We have all kinds of trouble with it. But I'm going to get my techs on it, on my kids. And if you're having trouble with the computer, get a teenager to work on it. I don't know what it is. It's a special relationship that teenagers have with electronics. They seem to be able to fix things with no training, no previous experience required. So anyway, here's what's happening. Nebuchadnezzar's troubled by his dream, and he needs somebody to interpret the dream. And the Chaldean says, "Well, tell us the dream, and we'll give you the interpretation." You know, back in the Old Testament, there was really something at stake. The king, in verse 5, answered and said to the Chaldeans, "The thing is gone from me. If you will not make known unto me the dream with interpretation thereof, ye shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill." So under threat of death, now they've got to make the interpretation. The sad thing is about this king is he's the king of the world, and he's got all this power and whatnot, but he can't get anything spiritual applied to him. He's got a magician. So a magician does sleight of hand, and he's a professional deceiver. I always liked magicians, and my brother had a saying back in the day, and he had very little time for liars or people who are trying to lie for the purpose of impressing you. But he said, I don't mind people stringing me a line if they're doing it to entertain me. And if it's bunk, and I know it's bunk, and you know that I know it's bunk, then it's okay. It's fun. It's entertaining. But if you're trying to feed me a line of bunk to impress me, I haven't got any time for that. And so magicians are interesting people, and they're talented, and they can escape from things and whatever. And it's a trick. There's no supernatural power. It's a trick. And the crowd knows it's a trick. The magician knows the trick, but they can admire his sleight of hand and his skill and all that. And that's great. That's okay. But a magician is professing to have supernatural powers. He's a deceiver. And it's against the scriptures. And astrologers. Astrology is not astronomy. Astronomy is the study of the planets and the heavenly bodies, stars and whatnot. Astrology is satanic, and it's going by the zodiac sign and trying to predict the future and things like that. And sorcerers. Sorcerers are people who are doing magic or witchcraft and with the use of drugs. The word comes from is where we get the word pharmacy. I can't give you the Greek word. I've seen it written. I don't know what it is. I'm not that interested, but it's a drug-related kind of a drug-induced state of sorcery and whatever. The Oracle of Delphi. If you ever remember that, if you've ever seen the movie The 300 or movies like that, where they go to see the Oracle of Delphi, she was on inhalants. I think she'd inhaled some narcotic or whatever, or potion, and then she'd have these visions and revelations for people and answer these vague little ditties that people governed their nations by in their lives. So that's sorcery, and the Chaldeans, and so that's what he has. That's all he has. That's the only light he has. So if you're going to spend your time studying Nostradamus or Gene Dixon or Edgar Cayce or any of these other people, they're going to have to get you through the judgment. They're going to have to get you through your life. They're going to have to do it for you. And the trouble is that they may be right some of the time, and that pulls you into their world there. Well, here's a good old-fashioned homespun saying: a busted clock is right twice a day. So you say, well, Nostradamus was right about this, and he's right about that, and he predicted this and that. Well, a busted clock is right twice a day. And so you're going to hit it if you have enough prophecies, and if they're vague enough, and if they're broadly spoken enough, well, you can say that they're a prophet. Let me give you what the Bible says the qualifications of a prophet are. And line up your favorite prophet, your favorite psychic, your favorite wise soothsayer, or whatever with this. It says when in Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 20, but the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die. This is the Old Testament. I mean, here now in the church age, there's a live and let live kind of a philosophy. So you don't go around killing people, and the state doesn't execute the people for this, but you just, that's the way it. Now look in verse 22, Deuteronomy 18, when a prophet speaketh in the name of the Lord, if the thing follow not, like if it doesn't come to pass, nor come to pass, that is the thing which the Lord hath not spoken, but the prophet hath spoken it presumptuously, thou shalt not be afraid of him. So ignore him. He is making it up. He's making it up as he goes along. He said, well, I have a dream. I had a dream, and let me tell you about my dream, and this is what it means. He's not speaking a word from the Lord. He's speaking a word from the devil, or a devil, or he's had too much pizza, he's had a dream, and he thinks that that's a prophetic dream, whatever it is, but it's not of the Lord. And it has to come to pass every single time. 100% success rate, or he's not a prophet of God. That's the qualifications. It's very simple. Does it happen? Does it always come to pass when he is prophesying or she is prophesying? And the answer, of course, to every one of these famous prophets, no. And they're not a prophet of God. All right. Now, Nebuchadnezzar has no doubt seen the inadequacies of of his team of psychics and woo, predictors, and he says, "I'm going to kill you all," and he ends up doing that. Starts to do that. It's a Holocaust that's going on. He's the type. Nebuchadnezzar is the type of the Antichrist, and so I'm just going to read you the. I'm just going to read you the place where, and yeah, and so, hang on a second. Yes, verse 12. For this cause the king was angry and very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. He says, while you're at it, go and get those four young men. He's fed up with being fed a line of guff. Nobody's been able to deliver. except nobody's. Bible says he's got an excellent spirit. But Daniel went in and he talked to the king, and he offers to show the king the interpretation. So he's a pretty cocky young fellow. No, he's not. He's actually very humble, but he's got confidence in the Lord. In quietness and confidence shall be thy strength. That's what the Bible says. And he wants mercy for him and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And so I thank thee and praise thee, O thou God of my fathers, who hast given me wisdom and might, and hast made known unto me now what we desire of thee. For thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. Therefore Daniel went in, destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went in and said thus unto him, destroy not nation. So there is a God in heaven that reveals secrets. To the king of my head upon thy bed are these. As for thee, O king, my thoughts came into my mind upon to reveal the secrets known to thee, what shall come to pass. For any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make. Okay, and then he goes in, and that's in verse 30. That's as far as we're going to go today. But the big thing is that Daniel is not exalting himself. Yes, give it the dream. Leave it to me, Daniel. And you notice the prophets don't do that in the scriptures. The prophets of God, the good prophets. And so he's a prophet of God. And he saves the day because he does interpret the dream. And so what we're going to do tomorrow, Lord willing, I'm going to talk to the kids and see if they can improve my I'm going to talk to the kids and see if they can improve my reception. I tell you, I love doing this, and I'm going to see if we can get a better go with the computer. I don't know. Maybe there's something I'm doing that's wrong. All right. So, what are we getting from here that we're going to set? What are we getting from here that we're going to set the tone, and then we're going to look at the beast or the statue, the dream of Nebuchadnezzar, and that's a very interesting study. The dream of Nebuchadnezzar, and that's very interesting. Daniel is got an excellent spirit, and he's got favor that he knows of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. There, but Lord preserved them, took care of them, and he'll do the same for you, and he'll take care of you and watch over you in due time. Daniel was more 2,500 years later. Isn't that something? One of my favorite men in the Bible is Daniel. All right. Well, Lord willing, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Today's a good day to get saved. Today's a good day to get saved. Are you saved? Have you trusted Jesus Christ as your Savior? All right.